This is PlayStation Home Beta as reviewed by Classic Game Room in March 2009. Let's start out by looking at all of the fun things that you can do in your apartment. Hey there, as I just mentioned, this review was originally recorded in 2009. I'm reposting it in 2015 because music that we purchased and used legally in this review was automatically flagged for copyright violation. Thanks, YouTube. Thank you so much for being easy to deal with. So, whatever. Enjoy it again. PlayStation Home, which I believe is sadly no more. And I had a lot of fun making these PlayStation Home reviews. I actually really thought PlayStation Home had a lot of potential. It probably cost them a fortune, and I doubt they made any money. But it was really neat while it lasted. PlayStation Home. Hey, download it, well, I guess a few years ago. I feel like I'm watching this review with all of you. It's actually interesting because since this review was made, since PlayStation Home, so many other games have actually adopted things that were pretty novel concepts in PlayStation Home, like taking this virtual space and making it yours. I guess it's not all that, I guess it's really not all that exciting anymore. I mean, when you really get down to it, what could you do in PlayStation Home other than run around and just try to annoy people? It had a lot of potential. It needed more flamethrowers. See, PlayStation should have hired me to be on the design team, which of course would have resulted in this game just being Grand Theft Auto. I mean, obviously, there's some guy dressed as Batman running around with a chainsaw. There's actually some pretty cool wallpaper in the background there. This had some decent design elements, it really did. Well, at least you don't have to pay rent for this place, because there's not a whole lot to do yet. Sony PlayStation Home is free with the PlayStation Network, which you can download for your PlayStation 3. And Sony has a great concept here. Let's take a look at how you can create your avatar. You have a whole lot of different options. You can start with a preset. And these tools are kind of cool if you have a week to spend with them. I did a quick recreation of myself. You can start with a bunch of free clothing items like shirts and a couple hats. But let's take this outside, because that's where the real action is in Home. Nothing exciting ever happens until you leave the apartment, because you can't even jump off the balcony. I tried. You can't throw chairs off either. For a few years after this, I actually went into PlayStation Home periodically and just messed around. I bought the London pub, which I thought was super cool, and that was a lot of fun. And I think I got a yacht. At one point, they had the Star Wars Cantina Band. There was a Star Wars themed set, and I did a review of that years ago, and a bunch of the Star Wars outfits. Those were pretty neat. But once again, like everything else in PlayStation Home, there was not a whole lot to do. None of the mini games in PlayStation Home were really all that good. They had potential, but the budget always seemed to come up short of what I think they were trying to do. I guess you could kind of run around and try to meet people, but of course, you know, in a way it was just creepy and awkward. To my surprise, there were a lot of other people in the Central Plaza area, and maybe most of them were looking for something to carjack just like I was. I'm not exactly sure what their final vision is here, but this is clearly the kind of thing that Sony and PlayStation will be updating, which is why I gave a specific date of March 2009. And that's when I'm running around PlayStation Home on screen here, trying to cause mayhem, but you really can't cause much mass chaos other than just walking up to people, dancing in front of them, and interrupting conversations. There's a number of preset dialogue commands that you can activate with one of the buttons. There's a number of automatic dance options and gestures that you can activate. You pull up a list and a drop-down list you can activate with a different button, or you can go and type in an entire statement. I don't have a keyboard, but if you had a keyboard, I imagine it would be a lot easier. The thing is, you really can't do anything beyond the presets. You can't jump, you can't pick up a trash can and throw it into the fountain. You can't slap people in mid-conversation or push them over and steal their shoe and run away. The dance moves, however, are awesome. I think I spent half my time in-home dancing. This thing has a lot of potential. There's other locations off the main central plaza. There's a bowling alley, a theater that shows trailers, and a shopping mall. When you go to another location, you download it from PlayStation Home. You can download it in the background, which is cool, so you can run around and continue to interrupt people by dancing in mid-conversation while downloading the bowling alley, for instance. I didn't find the movie theater terribly exciting. Again, there's really not a whole lot to do there. The bowling alley. That's where the action is. Seriously, the bowling alley is really cool. I spent most of my time there. There's all kinds of things you can do with the bowling alley. You can bowl, you can play arcade games. There's some pretty cool games in there. In fact, a number that I'm reviewing separately on Classic Game Room Reviews. See you back here in part 2, where I show you how to make friends in home and review the interaction process while also raining terror on the shopping mall. The best of Classic Game Room is on DVD, Blu-ray, and Laser Hypervision album set.